If you struggle at chess, it's probably because you don't prioritize your opening and your endgame. The opening you will have every single game, so learn it. The endgame is basically the target. Like you play your opening and middle game trying to go for a advantageous endgame. So you have to learn your endgames. And I will show you how I got a completely winning position, but didn't know my opening good enough. And after which, I played a losing endgame for a win. So this is actually a endgame masterclass. So I do play this gambit against the Sicilian. It's quite a good gambit. And after some moves, takes and takes is fine. I get my knight out. And he plays a very natural move. I get knight to b5, and here you see the best move is king to d8. I don't care, no one ever finds that. He plays his queen back. And I'm quite well, I'm doing good. I'm going to do wow, I'm doing good. So I attack the knight, and here I calculated that this is just a blunder because I have take. I'm losing here. Take. Wow, I miscalculated. I calculated that this was a royal fork. God damn, I miscalculated. That's cool. Yeah, but I just go for the same plan. So that's losing because of this. I did miscalculate. This is losing because of that too. This is now not stoppable. This obviously just blunders a knight. His best move is actually to just sag the knight. And after we trade queens, I just go back and I have an awesome position. That's his best way to play, but no one plays like that. Obviously, he just puts his knight back. I go for it. And here we see knight to a6, and I needed a lot of time to think about, is this the line where we sack our rook? And indeed it is. So if you didn't see, I did actually sack my rook, got a check, his king had to move, and here again I spent a lot of time. My time management was awesome, and I calculated check here, and what is my follow-up? Because my knight is hanging, there's a rook hanging. What's my plan here? How do I go for this? And apparently my lovely engine suggests that I give this check and he has to sack his queen. If he doesn't check his queen, I get check, move, check, queen blocks, takes, run, check here, queen comes in, you have to try something, check, move back, take, here, take this as well. Now we have a checkmate in 5 with knight to h3, which is very findable, by the way. And that was sarcastic. We bring our knight in, we take the pawn, king has to run, and now queen check, move. Don't sack your knight, and here we have a cage. All very findable. A 30 move checkmate. Incredible. Um, I didn't see it. I did not see it. Sue me. Sue me. So I should have known that this is just a good move, and but I didn't. So now I'm only slightly winning. I develop a piece and now I'm actually losing. I trade and trade because I thought I could rescue my knight with bishop to e2 and bishop to f3, and apparently this just completely loses to e4, which I didn't see. So now I'm losing. How do I play a losing endgame for a win? Well, you will see. I pick at least up a pawn for my knight. So now I have 2 pawns for a knight. So he's just up 1 pawn because I won the exchange earlier. So he's just up 2 pawns. No, 1 pawn, 1 pawn. He's up, I guess you could say, an outside pass pawn. How do I go from a position where my opponent has the strongest pawn possible, trying to fight for a win? Well, first of all, I activate my pieces. Here he just tries to pose a threat because I want to move my knight, so I just develop my king. He tries to kick my bishop, and I do find the best move, developing a rook. And after takes and takes, I calculated that there is no way to save this pawn, apparently because it's also with a check. I didn't see that part, and after this whole sequence, it's back to equal, except I have a passed pawn and he doesn't. So I saw that that was a good conversion for me. Shockingly, my opponent didn't go for it, so I had to activate another piece. And now my opponent set up something quite annoying because now his rook is very active and I slip my king over to deactivate his rook. His rook cannot enter anywhere. And after a long thought, my opponent goes for b6, just trying to attack. And if I move, that is a one move blunder, but he just wants to trade pieces, is the point. I spent a lot of time calculating rook check. I did not see where that went to, so I put my bishop back. Apparently, probably the engine likes check just because you cut off the king, and the king is very passive now. My opponent pushes his a pawn, which I thought was quite bad because now it's a target. So I now find this move because I'm blockading this pawn. I give a check. King has to go to a passive square, which is fantastic. How do we keep going? I just give a check, pick up a pawn. But he goes for a lot of annoying counterplay, and here I thought I could reactivate my knight, but that's quite difficult, and probably e3 is coming with a big discovery attack on my g pawn. So I did play the best move, and here my opponent found this very annoying ping, I thought, and the engine just spits in its face and does not care at all. I was actually very scared of e3, and then my pawn would fall. This pin is annoying. You could pressure it via e4. I always have bishop to d3, to be honest, so the engine is just very unconcerned. If you want to know what I calculated, you should watch the actual video too. But this is just a short but in-depth analysis. And in this position, I thought that this made a lot of sense, just trying to anchor in my knight. The one problem again being that he tries to play e3, which is very annoying. Now my knight is not defended. This is not hanging. That is kind of hanging, but my knight is hanging. So I calculate a lot and find the best move and the only move to survive. Everything is minus at minimum 0.3 except for this. But the problem is really this e3 push. And obviously, you would think you can just take, not a problem. Well, this is the problem. Check and whoops. So you would think you can just check, no problem. Well, check and whoops. So I actually did find the best move, which is just taking the pawn, breaking this pin. And after you take, which is quite complicated because now this check is maybe viable, I can just take this because the check isn't viable because my knight defends. And I was just defending ghost. There was nothing there. But he sacks the rook trying to go for something. And after this whole sequence, I win this. My opponent did resign. I thought check could be slightly annoying still, but the engine just thinks activate your king. Knight has to go pacify his king and just rush him off of the board. If the king goes here, you just go back. If you shuffle, bring the king. If the knight tries to defend, you can just push the king, keep pushing the king, push the king. And after a check, you win the knight with checkmate because this is a pin and the king and the pawns blockade everything. Even if you run away, it's still a checkmate. So that was actually quite a beautiful game. Uh, and if you want to see anything more I would recommend watching the previous video about the game itself, maybe watching it before watching this one because you can actually see what I'm thinking and what I'm calculating. So I hope you enjoyed and learned anything. Subscribe and like if you did, and I will see you in the next one.